Imagine you are lying on the beach side, soaking up the sun and listening to the gentle lapping of waves against the shore. And suddenly, a cylindrical object pops out of the sea and shoots up into the sky with a fiery trail. You may wonder, what the hell was that? Welcome to the world of submarines. Submarines are the silent killers of the deep. They are able to sneak up on their targets undetected and strike without warning. Their stealth capabilities make them nearly invisible, allowing them to penetrate even the most heavily defended territories. See this report. A US Navy nuclear submarine recently reloaded cruise missiles in the Western Pacific in China's backyard. The deployment and rearmament of this US submarine coincided with China's strengthening military cooperation with Russia. So you can understand the significance of submarines in modern-day geopolitics. Now, one of the most fearsome capabilities of submarines is their ability to launch missiles from the dark depths of the ocean, striking targets thousands of miles away with pinpoint accuracy. These underwater launch systems can unleash a devastating barrage of ballistic missiles capable of reaching any part of the world. A single Trident missile, commonly used by submarines, has a payload of up to 8 nuclear warheads, each with an explosive yield of up to 475 kilotons. That is roughly 7 to 8 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima in 1945, which killed an estimated 140,000 people and devastated an entire city. Imagine Hiroshima's devastation multiplied by 7 to 8 times. That is the potential impact of a single submarine-launched missile. And with multiple missiles on board, the destruction could be catastrophic. Submarines have been around since the 17th century, when Dutch inventor Cornelius Drebbel built the first successful submersible. But in the early days, submarines had a major limitation. They had to surface regularly for air. They used diesel-electric propulsion, which meant that they had to run their diesel engines on the surface to recharge their batteries. This made them vulnerable to detection and attack. Submarines can dive to incredible depths, over 800 feet like we told you, but how do they decide the depth at which they want to operate? The answer lies in buoyancy. Submarines use ballast tanks to control their buoyancy. They fill them with water or air to descend or ascend. By carefully managing their buoyancy, submarines can maintain a stable depth and remain undetected. But the game changer came with the development of nuclear-powered submarines in the 1950s. Now, these submarines could stay submerged for weeks, even months, without surfacing. Did you know that nuclear-powered submarines have a special system that removes salt and impurities from seawater? And this makes it drinkable for the soldiers on board. This process, called desalination, uses the submarine's nuclear energy to purify the water. This way, soldiers have access to fresh water for drinking, cooking, and even showering, a precious commodity, by the way, in the middle of the ocean. The largest submarine, the Russian Navy's Akula-class, is more than 560 feet long. That's roughly the same length as the Washington Monument or a 50-story skyscraper laid on its side. Advanced technology like stealth materials, sophisticated sensors and quieting systems help submarines remain undetected. They can detect and track targets using sonar and communicate with the outside world using specialized systems. Now, if you're wondering what is sonar, here it is. Sonar is a technique involving the use of propagation of sound for navigation. Its full form is sound navigation and ranging. The technology is used to detect and track targets by sending sound waves through the water. They can build a mental map of their surroundings and locate enemy vessels. Submarines have a rubber coating that's called anechoic coating, and it absorbs sonar waves so that the sub remains undetected. However, submarines are not invincible. Look at this. The US Navy's submarine Greenville and the Japanese fishing boat Ehime Maru collided in 2001. 9 people died. Now the question is, do subs communicate with the outside world and how? Well, submarines use specialized communication systems like very low frequency radio to receive messages from commanders. There are only a few VLF stations in the world. These include the US Navy's Cutler VLF station in Maine, the Russian Navy's Zevs station in the Murmansk Oblast, and the Indian Navy's INS Kota Bowman station in Tamil Nadu. These stations transmit signals that can penetrate seawater, allowing submarines to receive messages while being submerged. Submarines can also use satellites and even drones to send and receive information. Now, when it comes to combat, submarines use torpedoes. These are self-propelled missiles that can take out enemy ships. Submarine crews undergo rigorous training to prepare for emergencies. Living on a submarine is like being in a small, tight-knit community. Soldiers share cramped quarters with bunks stacked like shelves. They work, eat, and sleep in close proximity. Personal space is limited. Meals are simple, often pre-cooked and reheated. Showers are a luxury. They might get one every 4 to 5 days. They must work together as a team to operate the submarine safely and effectively. So who's got submarines? Over 40 countries are in the club, but only 6 countries have nuclear-powered submarines, the ultimate underwater status symbol. These 6 countries are the United States, Russia, the United Kingdom, France, China, and India. Designing a submarine takes years, up to 10 years, and it costs over $2 billion US. That's more than the GDP of some small countries. India has been strengthening its submarine fleet. The country's submarine program includes the indigenously built Arihant-class nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarines and the Kalvari-class conventional attack submarines. The Indian Navy has inducted several Scorpion-class submarines built under the Make in India initiative. Submarines play a crucial role in psychological warfare, deterring enemies with their stealthy presence. These underwater warriors can hold entire nations hostage, and their presence is a reminder of the delicate balance of power in our world. Submarines are the guardians of the sea, watching and waiting, always ready to defend their nation, but hoping never to engage. That's all in this edition of Connecting the Dots. We'll see you next week with more raging issues. Until then, it's a goodbye from all of us in the Delhi newsroom. This is Munmun Bhattacharya signing off. Take care and stay safe.